actually in beautiful Fort Lauderdale, Florida, getting ready to speak at a convention center tomorrow at a women's tea. It's going to be so much fun. But I wanted to tell you that I'm so excited about the topic this month because we're going to be talking about how you become what you behold. Not only that, how to create a vision board. You know, I'm passionate about teaching people how to write their dreams and goals, but I want you to also learn to get those images up in front of your eyes with a vision board. You know, just recently, I have to brag on my staff real quick. Just recently, I was in France, and while I was away, my awesome, amazing staff at Terri Savelle Ministries, they were surprising me by totally renovating my office. I knew they were going to do it, but they were surprising me with how fast they were getting it done. And I mean, beautiful. So while I'm away in Paris, France, having a delicious croissant, they are, no, I'm just kidding. I was fulfilling a dream that I had prayed about for 4 years to preach in the largest church in France. And hundreds of people got born again. Thank you, Jesus. So while I'm there, they're redoing my office. I mean, they tirelessly laid hardwood floors for like 5-6 days. They painted my walls this beautiful blue color. They hung up my Parisian prints and family portraits. And then, you know, they put my favorite success and motivational books on my shelves, and it was amazing. Well, then they texted me back and they said, what do you want on this giant wall that your desk faces? I texted back, vision. I want to see vision. So they said, what do you want? I said, I want a vision board, a massive vision board. So they got this giant cork board, and then they found this old frame that we had somewhere in a closet, a gold frame, and they painted it black, put that cork board in there. It looks beautiful. So I could hardly wait to get back to the office, go see this amazing office, and I'm telling you, it is so beautiful. But I would be sitting at my desk, and I was trying to get caught up on work, you know, because I've been gone for a while. And every time I would look up at my desk and see that empty corkboard, I would get so frustrated because I was looking at nothing. Every time I would look up, I saw nothing. And it was so frustrating because I know Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Well, perish means die. So I know that with vision, you flourish, you come alive. Vision causes you to go from where you are to where you want to be. So I could hardly wait. Finally, when I made time to do it, I started cutting pictures out, images of where I see this ministry headed, you know, with our icing conferences, with France, with our personal finances for the ministry, what I'm believing for, the teenage girls, the women. I just started putting images up of where I see this ministry headed. And you know, it's so like exhilarating. Every time I look up from my desk, that's what I see. I see where we're headed. I see our potential. And I want to ask you, what do you see when you look up? Do you see a pile of debt? Do you see an overweight body? Do you see a marriage falling apart? A failing career? What do you see when you look up? Because vision is seeing what can be. It's seeing beyond reality. It's seeing what can be. And I want you to get serious about developing your own vision and getting those images up in front of you. The reason I like to put images and pictures up is because our minds think in pictures. You don't think in words, you think in pictures. When I say dog, you don't think you actually see a dog, perhaps your dog. But I want you to think about those images. Well, the reason I'm standing in front of Starbucks is not because I'm craving a latte, it's because I wanted to tell you a story about the CEO and the owner of Starbucks, Schultz. I was listening to a story about him the other day, and it said that last year alone, his personal bonus was $22 million. That wasn't his salary, that was just his bonus. He has over 16,000 Starbucks around the country. So I was listening to this story about Schultz, and it said that he wasn't always the owner. He was just an employee of Starbucks. He just worked for the company, and he wasn't in a high-up position. He was just an average employee. Well, one day, he saved up his money and went on a vacation to Italy. While he's in Italy, oh, and get this, at that time, Starbucks did not sell cups of coffee. They sold coffee by the pound, like whole beans, you know, like coffee pounds. And so he saves up this money, goes to Italy, and one day he notices people are lining up in the streets in Italy at a little coffee shop to get 1 cup of coffee. And he's like, what? This is ridiculous. They're buying coffee, lattes, cappuccinos, espressos. So the next day, he sees it again. The street lines up with people all in line to get 1 cup of coffee. So he thought, you know, if this will work in Italy, I wonder if it'll work in America. And keep in mind, Howard Schultz was not the only American tourist to observe this. Other people observed it too. But Howard took it a step further. He saw what could be, not just, you know, this is reality. He saw what could be. So he went back home to America and he met with the owners of Starbucks and he said, hey, I've got this idea. Instead of selling, you know, coffee by the pound, what if we sold cups of coffee? Lattes, cappuccinos, espressos. They shot the idea down. So Howard Schultz says, well, then I'll start my own coffee company. So he starts his own little cafe and it does really good. Then he opens 3 of them. Next thing you know, Starbucks goes up for sale, and guess who buys it? Howard Schultz. And of course the rest is history. But think about it. Howard Schultz saw what could be. He saw, that's vision. He saw what could be, not just what was. And he took it a step further. You have to see potential. You can't just look at your body and say, yes, this is as good as it gets. No, you got to see what can be. That's what vision is. So this week on the podcast, I want you to just take the time to just sit and listen for God. Pray, talk to Him. Ask Him, say, Lord, what do you want me to see? What is it that you want me to get serious about? What are the images you want me to put up in my life of what can be? And I don't know what it is for you. It could be a marriage thing, a body thing, finances, career, diploma, degree, whatever it is. Take the time to just listen and start making a list. Then start getting images, cut images out, go online, get some magazines, and start cutting those images out and getting them before your eyes. Now I'm going to teach you how to make a vision board. So keep watching the podcast because you're going to have so much fun with this. And I'm telling you, I'm absolutely convinced you become what you behold. So thank you for watching me, and I'll see you next week.